existence nearly as long as Chicago itself, Graceland Cemetery has come to be somewhat of an archive of the city. To walk through Graceland is to take steps into Chicago's past and its quest for identity. Amongst the stillness of the grounds, a story comes to life, as dynamic and compelling as the prominent residents that are buried there. An ongoing reflection of Chicago's commercialism, Graceland was born as a response to the city's rapid industrialization, when overcrowding and mass epidemic pushed graveyards outside of the city center. While the boomtown was an image of filth, Graceland founder, Chicago lawyer Thomas Bryan, aspired for Chicago to live up to its motto, "A city in a garden," and worked with half a dozen landscape architects over several decades to construct the famed rural cemetery landscape. While Bryan envisioned a more pastoral Chicago, architect Daniel Burnham strived to reveal a cultured Chicago worthy of international validation and admiration. As the director of works for the illustrious World's Columbian Exposition in 1893, Burnham's notion of a modern metropolis was one in direct engagement with ancient empires. The fair's white city was exemplary of quintessential neoclassical style. Having lived by the dictum, "Make no small plans," Burnham surprisingly lies to rest beneath a modest and simple stone grave in the central burial grounds of Graceland. In the years since the World's Fair, Roman Greco influence is prevalent and dominant, especially among Chicago's most affluent inhabitants. The wealthiest and most powerful businessman in Chicago of his time, Marshall Field's Graceland Memorial mimics the elaborate sarcophagi of ancient Rome, featuring a nod to Field's profession, with a caduceus on both sides of the statue, a reference to Mercury, the Roman god of commerce. The statue named Memory was sculpted by Daniel Chester French, the sculptor behind the Statue of the Republic for the World's Columbian Exposition. The affinity of Chicago's elite towards neoclassicism is further seen in the memorial of William Kimball, who became prosperous in piano and organ manufacturing in the late 1800s. Fortune is reflected in Kimball's gravesite at Graceland, displaying 6 composite order columns that surround an angel, covered by an elaborate Roman portico, lauded by the Chicago Tribune in 1908 as a dream in white marble. As close to royalty as a family could get in Chicago, Potter and Bertha Palmer maintain a legacy as the city's most influential family, instrumental to Chicago's industrial and cultural development. In extravagant Potter style, the family lays to rest beneath a striking Greek temple tomb. Erected in 1921, the memorial is a prominent, enduring reminder that the Potters were not only wealthy and powerful, but also true Chicagoans. To disrupt the trend of classical antiquity is the renowned tomb of Carrie Eliza Getty, designed by architect Louis Sullivan. Commissioned by her husband and constructed 1890, the Getty tomb is a clear departure from the ideas of Burnham, whose white city has been described by Sullivan as a setback in American architecture of 50 years or longer. The tomb is one of the structures that led to Sullivan's later consideration as the father of modernism, demonstrative of the refutation of classicism by architects of the era in favor of more innovative design, and was designated to the status of a Chicago landmark in 1971. Still the only feature in the cemetery to receive this honor. What is Chicago's architectural identity? The bucolic landscape amidst an urban uproar, the pioneering design that earned landmark prestige, the classic antiquity adorning the city's most recognizable names? Who is Chicago? Just as Chicago's story as a city is a sum of the lives of its citizens, Chicago's architectural story is a composite of its buildings, monuments, and structures, all resting peacefully together in Graceland Cemetery.